Good morning, everybody. How are we all doing? Damn it. My clock just switched to 10:04, so maybe 10:04 is the new 10:03, right? How are we doing, everyone? Sam here, United People's TV. We're here with the morning live show, as we always are, Monday to Friday at 10-ish a.m. Today, we're talking, well, the focus point at the beginning of the show will be the takeover. I know that so many of you are frustrated at how long it's taken. I've tried to sort of temper that a little bit by saying, man, it's the takeover of a football club. The Chelsea one, don't look at that because that was forced on Chelsea by the government and that accelerated very quickly. But Friday is the deadline for the third round of bids. My gut instinct is that this will be the last round of bids. It's not necessarily going to be, definitely not necessarily going to, it might not be the case, but I kind of be surprised. Going to run through some updates from Ben Jacobs, who, of course, we know very well here on United People's TV. How many times have we spoken now? 7 or 8 times? No doubt we're going to be speaking again next week. And then there's loads of stuff lined up for today's show. We're going to speak about Alexis Mac Allister and the potential transfer of him. We're going to speak about Bruno's injury. We're going to speak We're going to speak about a lot of younger players today. I think quite a few of you always ask me to do like a full loan roundup, and I never really properly have time. Feels like we should probably do one in a live show. It feels like a good place to do it. We're going to speak about Willie Kamwala, the 18-year-old defender who's now training with the first team ahead of Spurs. Don't know whether I don't think he'll feature against Spurs, but he's the latest academy graduate to come through. We'll speak about him. We'll speak about lots and lots of things. Who is here this morning? T, you're saying more rounds than a UFC fight. UFC fights, what, they 5 rounds? 5 rounds, 5 minutes? I don't know how they do that. Good morning to everyone down here. Let's have a look. We've got T there, as I said. We've got Fred. Good morning to you. We've got Julie. We've got Charlie, Matt. We've got Ian, Paula. I've got Carla's always watching from New Zealand. We've got Ines. We've got Connor Maxwell, Peter. Who's on Facebook? We've got Killian. We've got Oza. We've got Kieran. We've got Antonio. Cool. Plenty of you all around the world. Josh, I no doubt you're here as well. And I can see you too. Chris Taylor watching from Thailand. Good morning. Good morning to the best community in the world. Now, let me quickly open this so I don't miss any of your comments and chats. And let's get this show on the road. Oh, I can't even get this show on the road, actually. Look at that for a start. JVD. I always think of that. I'm Luke, I'm 5, and I'm JVD. Look at that remix. My Don. Gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much, man. Everyone say thank you very much to the man that is JVD. Or the woman, actually. I don't actually know. Sanka, you've got one. Sanka, kiss my lucky egg. No, Sanka, you're dead yet. Yeah, I'm on. I can't believe I just misquoted Cool Runnings. I may as well sack the show now. Chris Taylor, Redman, Drew, Keith, and Ebifemi, you are the lucky 5. Say thank you very much to the man himself. But let's talk about the takeover. What's your feeling ahead of Friday? Oh, God. I've got a cracked lip. Let's get this bad boy on it. Burt's Wax. Very nice. Burt's Bees. Don't know. Get something. Look at that. Fixed. Anyway, I'm getting distracted this morning. What's your feeling ahead of the deadline on Friday? Are you still worried? Are you still fearful that nothing's really going to happen? Are you scared that there's going to be another 4th round? I know you're getting frustrated with the delays. I think everybody slightly is. And the thing I've always tried to sort of temper here on United People's TV is that, I mean, we're looking at a 5-6 billion pound business being sold. It's not going to be quick. It's not going to be straightforward. And especially not with the Glazers. I tell you what, there's a good comment there from William saying that you should put this up as a poll. What do you reckon the options for the poll would be? What do you think? What do you think will happen next? That's what I'll put, actually. What do you think will happen next? If we run through 4 potential options, we've got 4th round of bidding. That could happen, right? What else could happen? Glazers not selling the club. That could happen. You've got Sheikh Jassim going through as preferred bidder. or Jim Ratcliffe. INEOS, sorry. INEOS as preferred. Yeah. Put that down there as 4 options. I'll look at that towards the end of the show because I'll be interested to see where people do stand. My gut instinct is that after this round of bids, I'd be surprised if there was a 4th round. I think at this point, we're going to get an answer one way or the other. Whether that would be the answer that we absolutely want is obviously a different question. But you can add your comments down there. And I'm going to run through a thread from Ben Jacobs that he put out yesterday. I was speaking to Ben this morning. We're all set up to have another conversation, another interview when there are some major updates to bring you. But let's run through what Ben had to say yesterday, and then we can speak about it as a community. A big week ahead for United. We know full well. Thought that's an interesting part. A due diligence deadline to request any further information has now passed. No early movement expected, with groups likely to table bids on the deadline itself. And now that's exactly the same as last time. And it's like, I don't know, having a deadline for an essay at uni. You could do it early. But why would you? Why? You've got the time. You may as well use it. You may as well squeeze it in right 10 seconds before that deadline. And if Sheikh Jassim or Jim Ratcliffe's INEOS were to submit a bid today, it would give the competition the opportunity to maybe try and find something out about that bid and then improve their bid. So it's about keeping things sort of behind closed doors. So that's not too much of an issue. Garlic Bread Man, with one of the best names on YouTube. Morning, Sam. I feel apathy at the takeover. It will get done, but not in any way that benefits the team this summer. Yeah, it's kind of hard not to think that this summer's going to be affected by it. If you know what I mean? Because right now, I think we've spoken about this before, haven't we? If you're Eric Ten Hag, you're John Murtough, whatever it is, behind the scenes, and you're planning Manchester United's transfer window, you kind of got to have 2 plans, don't you? You have to have a plan with new owners and a plan with the Glazers, just in case they don't sell. Because there's no way that behind the scenes, John Murtough is just writing everything and planning everything as if the Glazers have already sold. And there's also no way that he can't plan for if the Glazers do sell. So you're going to have to make 2 different plans. It doubles the workload. And this is a summer that we've got to get right. We got last summer right in terms of the signings we made, but I told you, as an operation, we have to operate a lot slicker. And you're saying, could the deal already be done and this just be media manipulation to turn more? I mean, you could say that, but then that's effectively a conspiracy theory, Ant, more than anything, because no one's saying anything about deals being done behind the scenes, X, Y, Z. Alex, you think it's a bit of gamesmanship to leave it late? Yeah, this whole thing, we've witnessed quite a lot of gamesmanship, haven't we? We've seen a lot of gamesmanship. I've maintained since day one that the concept of minority investment has been gamesmanship because the numbers don't stack up. It doesn't logistically make sense from a business perspective or from an investor perspective. But we don't need to have a conversation about that this morning. We've spoken about that quite a lot of times, haven't we? Muiz, we're saying we're tired as fans. I'm tired, Robbie. I'm tired. Oh, look at that, man. Teresa and William, you absolute heroes, both of you. 5 and 10 gifted. I can't wait until this just like sits as the gong can like sit up next to, was that Nomio Fernandez up there? There he is. The gong can sit up there once we've got the software done. A little update on the software. I'm making some real progress on that behind the scenes. It's a lot of work, but it's going to be really, really, really good once it gets done. Let's run through this before we get distracted a bit more. So we know that the deadline is coming on Friday. The understanding remains if the Glazers choose to proceed, the point of the 3rd stage is to get a deal quite close to signing. This may mean no exclusive period or only a short one. And that's an interesting conversation and concept. But Ben's saying that this, again, is also... Oh, geez. Shouldn't have clicked that. Ben saying that Sheikh Jassim will bid. Let me go down there. Thank you. Sheikh Jassim will bid again on Friday and remains confident. Sources close to Sir Jim Ratcliffe are a little more coy. little bit more down here. There is still definitely competitive tension between the bidders, but those close to both Sheikh Jassim and Sir Jim Ratcliffe have said throughout the process they won't bid recklessly, which is exactly, of course, what the Glazers want. We know about Carlisle, we know about Elliott, and I've spoken about minority investment, and I've spoken about the unlikeliness of it. But Ben there saying that Sheikh Jassim will definitely be putting that third bid in. Obviously, the sources that Ben has are, I would say, probably closer to the Qatari side than they are the INEOS side. But that's been... You've never heard any sort of... I wouldn't say the word fear. But when it comes to the Qatari bid, they've always maintained confidence, haven't they? Even though they've probably been dragged into a bit of I wouldn't say a fight here, just it's just competitive tension. This ownership takeover, it's not played out like a transfer because you can't really compare it's like comparing apples and oranges, but it's the fact that it's in the public eye. Everything is so in the public eye with Manchester United. Hell, it's why we've got this community that exists every single day. We come on here to have a full hour-long conversation every morning about all the news that's happened pretty much in the last 24 hours. That's what Manchester United is. And that's why the takeover there's been so much more spotlight. It's been so much more public. There's been swings. It's a little bit frustrating. Of course it is. But on Sunday, this is very important. This is from the 1958. I'll speak about that in a bit. I'm going to quickly go down here and speak. See what you're saying in the comments, eh? Rodney, they should increase their bids by $1. Do you remember when? Who is it? Who tried to sign? Was it Liverpool trying to sign? Was it Ozil? For 40 million and £1. Who was it? I think I've got the player wrong. I don't think it was Ozil. Who was it? Damn it. I can't remember who it was. That's annoying. That would really piss me off in a pub quiz. Martin, you're saying can't wait for the new owners so us United fans don't have to worry about the Glazers anymore in a transfer market. That will be a glorious day when that happens. Now, of course, there are still concerns that we all have and should have around our new owners, whoever they may be, and we have to make sure that we scrutinize, and we will continue to do that, just like I did at the start, and like I will continue to do so once we've got a bit more clarity over who they're going to be. What are we saying down here? The Glazers would want to get as much as they can possibly get, so a fourth round is imminent in my view, says Eddie. I don't. That's where I would disagree, Eddie, because I just don't see the Glazers. Of course, want to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, but there's only so much you can squeeze before you make Sheikh Jassim and the 9-2 Foundation, or you make Jim Ratcliffe and the INEOS bids go, you know what? Screw this. I'm out. It's like again, if someone's trying to buy your house and you might try and squeeze an extra $5,000, there's only so far you can go before they go, you know what? Sod this. I think the Glazers have reached that stage now. I think so anyway. Save the Jungle. How you doing, buddy? Glazers are up to no good. Shady business as usual. Wow. That's true. That is. There you go. I knew it was Liverpool and Arsenal. I just couldn't remember what player it was. And of course, they didn't get him, did they? What are you saying down here? Peter, you're saying the fact is this ownership debacle is very pivotal for next season and going forward. Any sort of withdrawal from the Glazers end with substantial bids lodged will create a new level of anger. And that's a very good sort of segue conversation point to go into this. This protest on Sunday, I've been speaking to the 58. They've really started to reach out now, starting to speak to some more presences online. I'm proud that the lads reached out to me first at United People's TV, because you know full well that I think integrity is important. It's massively important. And I think the 58, there are some that sort of question what they've done, but I think the fact that they've managed to stay anonymous, the fact that they've managed to organize consistent protests, I think it's been a real help in this fight against the Glazers. And on Sunday, I hope it's going to be the biggest protest yet. Now, I was going to go, but the trains are absolutely... Man, the trains in this country are so crap. It's unreal. Unreal. On Sunday, there's no train. It's like a 5.5, 6 hour round trip from London to Manchester on Sunday. It's stupid. Honestly, the trains in this country are so naff. But the protest itself is going to be the biggest one so far. Starts off at the Nag's Head in the city centre, and it goes down. Last time, I think it's the marches that have happened so far. You've had one from the toll gate. I can't remember the name of the other pub. There's been 2 different pubs that it started from, but this one's going to start at the Nag's Head, go through Deansgate, Chester Road, go to Old Trafford. It's going to stop at the toll gate. Or I'll share the map with you, right? I'll share the map with you because I think this is really important. If you can go, then go. Robin Lawrence, you laugh about this. Seriously, I can't tell you how many tabs I have to open every morning. It takes a long time to research these shows every single day. It really, really does. But I think that's probably why you enjoy them. I do all of this so you don't have to. You can just enjoy the conversation points. But yeah, I'm glad I got a powerful computer, or I would be struggling with the amount of tabs I've got open. And you're saying, Sam, can't help but feel the calm professionalism of both JBJ and SJR has been in stark contrast to the stupidity of the Glazers. Mate, the Glazers are reeling. The Glazers have been reeling for a long time. They're like scrambling for cash. They don't have any cash to put it on the credit card. Fuck, we've maxed the credit card. They've been scrambling as they are not good businessmen. People have sort of laughed at that when I've said that before, saying, look, how much did they buy the Man United for? How much is it worth now? How much have they invested? They're great businessmen. Just because their dad held the golden ticket doesn't make them great businessmen at all. If they were great businessmen, they wouldn't be in the position where this protest is happening. They wouldn't be in the position where they need to sell the club. Because I don't think the concept of Manchester United being worth 10 billion in 5-10 years' time is outrageous. I really, really don't. I think the club could genuinely double in value from what it is now. If the Glazers were good businessmen, they wouldn't have to sell. They would be able to do that. But instead, they haven't invested. They've neglected. And now they have to sell. They are shit businessmen. Anybody that comes at me and says the Glazers are good businessmen, you're losing that argument. But anyway, this protest that happens, if you can, it will start at 11:45 from the Nag's Head pub in Manchester on Sunday and go the whole way to Old Trafford with an 18-minute boycott down there. Now, this is something that, of course, has been spoken about a lot, right? Boycotts. Why can't Old Trafford be empty? Look at what AC Milan did. If AC Milan can do it, why can't United do it? And I've spoken about this quite a lot. AC Milan, from a fan perspective, is quite regional, quite local. The majority of the fans there are from Milan. And it's easier to organize a bigger boycott in that environment. Whereas in Manchester, in Old Trafford, you go in there and there's thousands of day drippers. There's tons of different groups. And the concept of a boycott is not impossible, but the planning required is on a massive scale. I think we've used words in here before, on a military scale compared to Milan. Now, the 18-minute boycott, let's see how powerful it can be. The problem is that even if you have 5,000 outside Old Trafford, 5,000 fans join the 58 and boycott the first 18 minutes, that's still less than 10% of Old Trafford. It's when you put those, when you really logically start to put the numbers together and do that, you go, wow, that's tough. It's really, really tough. Let me see what you're saying about the takeover, about the Glazers down here, and then we'll move on to lots and lots more talking points. We're going to run through loads of youth players, speak about Bruno, speak about Alexis Mac Allister transfer possibility. Tons to run through today. Niki saying, I think they're good businessmen. Anyone in the world will tell you this. Dude. I suppose it annoys me. It annoys me. Because technically they have been good businessmen. When you think about it, they've not invested one penny and they've drawn out millions, and so I suppose from a business perspective, they have been good. But they've been dumb. Because they've taken the low-hanging fruit. That's what I mean about them not being good businessmen. They've taken the low-hanging fruit of 20 million dividends a year. No. Just that's all they've done. Low-hanging fruit, not invested anything, just taking that sweet dividend. If they were good businessmen, they would have been able to look past that and go, what? So United could be worth how much? 10 billion. If we got investment in the stadium, if we actually like invested in the team as well. Oh, damn it. Maybe we should have done that. And that's what the Glazers are doing now. They're scrambling, trying to buy out their brothers and sisters, trying to buy out Darcy Edward, Kevin and Brian Glazer, trying to hold on to the club, and they cannot do it. Just because that, I know, sod that. Fuck the Glazers. Fuck the Glazers. Let me see what you're saying down here. Alex, my Don, man. How you doing, man? By the way, I apologize, Alex, because I still haven't done. I'm still working on the website. I keep getting distracted. I apologize, everyone. The launch for the United People's TV website for the community is coming. It's all in the works. It's just there's too many things going on at once for me to. I'm like a magpie. I'm like, oh, shiny thing. Oh, shiny thing. Oh, shiny thing. That's kind of what I'm doing at this moment in time. It's really, really annoying. Jibak saying investing 250 mil to buy an asset, then leeching 20 million a year for 15 years, only to flip it for 5. Yeah, cool, great. The Glazers are good businessmen. Let's can we move on from complimenting the Glazers on how good they are as businessmen? Just because they had the golden goose, it doesn't mean they're good businessmen. And the fact that they are now missing out on potentially another 5 billion. Oh yeah, they're great business. Wow, I wish I was a Glazer. Oh yeah, get fucked. Sorry, I'm not taking any Glazer compliments on this channel. I don't care how much money they've made. Sodom. Anyway, let's move on. All right. There's obviously been some outcry. Not outcry, just mega concerns about seeing Bruno Fernandes in a protective boot. He's obviously got that up, rested. He's got crutches on the floor. He's got the old bigger boot. Man, I hate that boot. I had to wear that after my surgery. I'm probably going to have to wear one again at some point in the future. Bar humbug. And people are concerned, right? And then you see basically the press are guessing. Jamie Jackson. He's wearing it as a precaution. David McDonald from the Mirror. It looks like he's set to miss the next 2 games. So almost like they're guessing. Almost like they're guessing. Because they are. Now, Erik ten Hag will be speaking today ahead of the Spurs game tomorrow. My starting 11 and prediction and team news will be going out at lunchtime today. Right? I'd be surprised if Bruno played against Spurs. Even if it is just a precaution, it would be a risk. It would be a risk. Problem is, in my opinion, looking at the remaining Premier League fixtures, Thursday is the game. Thursday is the one. If we win on Thursday, so we're 6 points clear of Spurs with 2 games in hand. So if we beat them on Thursday, we're 9 points clear of Spurs with 2 games in hand. In 5th. That pretty much, I wouldn't say it seals top 4, but man, that is a cushion that if you screw up from that position, that's bad. So if there's any game that I want Bruno to play in, it's probably Thursday. But we'll find out. In fact, I don't think we'll find out. Erik ten Hag won't tell the press anything. They'll just be like, we'll see. I'll keep that to myself. He won't say, Bruno Fernandes has, unless he's actually injured himself and he's ruled out properly. But we'll find out. I think that's just annoyed me this morning. People say, Glazer's a good businessman. Just because they've stripped an asset and taken money out, you think that this is what I mean, that you're looking at the low-hanging fruit. And it wasn't them that did it anyway. It was their dad. Piss off. I can't wait until I don't have to talk about them anymore. I cannot wait until they're like a footnote. Until we can look back at it and say that Glazer period from 2005 to 2023. Oh, man, that was a shit time, wasn't it? Glad we got over that. I'm bored. Just want to bookmark it. End it. Dead that conversation and move on. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Anyway. Stop sitting on the bloody fence, Sam. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I am. Not. Anyway. Can we move on and talk about Alexis Mac Allister? I want to speak about Alexis Mac Allister, and then I've got a really interesting part of the show where we speak about the youth team and younger players coming through and players coming back from loan. You've been asking me to do that for a while, and I'm going to do it today. All right. So if you do enjoy the video, make sure you drop a like. I'm sure there's loads of you that are just new and you're joining in. Sorry, I've been moaning about the Glazers. I'm not sorry I'm moaning about the Glazers, but I have been moaning about the Glazers a little bit this morning. Make sure you drop a like in the video, though. You got Fabrizio Romano on the United stand this week saying that United have held talks with McAllister's representatives. Now, McAllister has kind of made it abundantly clear that he wants to leave Brighton this summer. So McAllister's going to be on the move, right? That's not really a case of maybe. It's a case of, yeah, right, he's going to be leaving. It's just whether or not you think that McAllister is the right player for United. If I'm looking at that game from Sunday, Brighton's midfield was fantastic. Brighton's midfield had our number until Fred came on. And Fred, I think we won 10. We spoke about this yesterday on the live stream, where we had 10 turnovers in the second half, 7 from when Fred came on. And that extra press helped us. But in that first half, they absolutely had our number. They had our number. Speaking of numbers, and this will be an interesting one in the comments. How much do you think, realistically, how much is McAllister worth? Right? At a blinding World Cup, he's had a very good bit of progress at Brighton. He's continued to progress. On Sunday, I thought it was very good. I thought Caicedo was better than him. And Caicedo, we know that Brighton have turned down 70 million. So if Caicedo leaves Brighton this summer, you're looking somewhere in the region of 80 to 90 million, given that they were able to resist 70 in January. You're going to have to go up because his stock is only increasing. How much does Alexis Mac Allister go for? Who, of course, is being linked with plenty of clubs. Liverpool, I imagine he's going to be pretty high up Liverpool's list because they can't afford Jude Bellingham. I'll be honest, neither can we. I'll be honest, I'm not sure there's going to be any team that wants to pay. Well, Real Madrid probably will. But Mac Allister, how much do you think he is worth? Let's have a look. 45 million max, says John. 50 to 60 mil, 50, 45 mil euros, 50 mil, 60 to 70, says Carl. 50 mil tops, 50, 60. I don't really know. 55, 60 mil. It is wild. The amount that players cost these days. Judy, you're saying 65, 40. I think you're looking at somewhere in the region of 50. That's personally what I think. I don't particularly think there's any sort of United tax on that. I think it will just be a Premier League tax. I think Liverpool would get the charge the same as we would. Although saying that, there's always a United tax. Who am I kidding? I really appreciate Alexis Mac Allister as a player, right? I really, really do. However, I'm unsure whether his profile is exactly what we need inside that midfield. I suppose he's a similar sort of profile to Jude Bellingham, and that's why Liverpool would definitely look at him straight away. But if we're being completely and utterly honest, Jude Bellingham, was he the perfect fit profile-wise for what Manchester United need? Because ultimately, if the one player that we need is a midfielder, it's not. We need a striker. But if we get one midfielder, it's got to be somebody who's more comfortable receiving the ball off the defenders and being that first build-up. That's the profile that we need. That really is a profile we need. Now, Tielemans, he's going to be available on a free. Geez, Tielemans is a conversation that's been sort of lurking in the background for what? 3 years now? I don't think Tielemans goes anywhere. I don't think United go for Tielemans. Could easily see him going Arsenal, though, couldn't you? Sam, talk about the goalkeeper. Oh, geez, I've already spoken about goalkeepers enough, I think, for the time being. Where's that there? I want to bring this one up because speaking about midfielders, spoken about McAllister there. And I've spoken about this lad before. Let me quickly get this up. 1 second there. Jeez. So many tabs. So many tabs. Tab City. Ryan Graven Birch. Is what he said about his future. Said training and playing at the top level for a year is instructive, but it has to change next season. I really want to play week in, week out. I haven't spoken to the board yet, but it's clear that this role does not match. Now, if we're talking about profiles of players, you might argue that Graven Birch kind of falls... he's kind of like a hybrid, I would say, between... And positionally, I'm not saying he's a hybrid of these players. Positionally, he's kind of like right there in between where what Bellingham is and what De Jong is. Graven Birch can drop a little bit deeper, can go a little bit further forward, but he's kind of a player who floats a bit in the middle of them. Graven Birch, for me, honestly, I think I've said it a few times. I know I have. This one makes sense. And the Ajax links only make it stronger. He knows the Ten Hag style. He is comfortable at playing deeper. Now, in the Ajax team, it was kind of it was Alvarez and Graven Birch. That was the duo in the second version of Ten Hag's Ajax. And Alvarez was the player who kind of traditionally was a little bit deeper. But Graven Birch is very comfortable in possession, very comfortable with the ball at his feet. Now, the fact that he says there that he wants to play week in, week out, you might argue that he's not going to get that at Manchester United. You might argue that he would therefore prefer Liverpool. And I think Liverpool will be going in for him. But I've maintained this from day one, and I will maintain it the whole way through. It's exactly the same as Lisandro Martinez and Arsenal. If Ten Hag rings him, he's going nowhere near Liverpool. He's only coming to Manchester United. Rodney, you're saying, who do you bench for Ryan? And the answer to that is Christian Eriksen. And it's not, and I'm not just saying, oh, just drop Eriksen to the bench and forget he exists. Christian Eriksen was never signed by Manchester United to play every single game for 90 minutes. And he was fantastic at the start of the season. After the World Cup, and then that injury kicked in. And after the injury, his pace has gone down a couple of notches. He's struggling a little bit. Christian Eriksen, if we can dovetail that with someone who's younger like Graven Birch, and then maybe Eriksen, we can use him in certain games, leave him out in other games, bring Eriksen on for 45 minutes, and then sometimes not start him in games. That's where I think we're going to get more out of Christian Eriksen for the next couple of years, because he really is a fantastic player. But I think it's not just Sunday, not just Brighton. We've seen it at various points this season that Eriksen's looked a little bit tired. And that's where someone like Graven Birch could come in. And really, both of those could compete for the same spot alongside Casemiro. Now, we'd still have the weakness of what happens when you take Casemiro out of the team. And that's a different conversation. So you might say that we need two midfielders. But Graven Birch, I'll continue to speak. And I will genuinely be a bit staggered if we don't go after him. I think so. I think so anyway. And I kind of even feel that if Man United had sorted it out with Ten Hag earlier, that we might have got Graven Birch last season. But if I'm going to compare the profiles of McAllister and I'm going to compare it to Graven Birch and I'm going to choose one of those two, personally, I think Graven Birch would tick more boxes for what United need than Alexis Mac Allister. And I think if I'm looking at Jurgen Klopp's team and I'm looking at what they're missing, I think he ticks a lot more boxes for what Liverpool need than Graven Birch does. Although they probably need both of them because their midfield's looking garbage now, isn't it? Danielle, you're saying with Graven Birch and Casemiro, it's midfield done. I would see Graven Birch more as a competition for Eriksen than I would competition for Casemiro. Now, he could play both of those positions. He could, but I think we'd still need, in an ideal world, we'd still need an understudy for Casemiro, like a pure enforcer with the capability of playing out from the back with the ball. Now, I did this video yesterday, right? I'll be totally honest. I wasn't completely happy with this video. There's so much information I packed into this video. It was kind of hard for me to absorb it all. And I think that's kind of what a few of you had felt with that video too. Not as many people watched it. I'm going to be structuring this video differently next time because there's going to be, it's a mini series, right? That's the first one. I did it on strikers. We took a look at Kane, Osimhen, Evan Ferguson, who of course signed the new Brighton contract. And I knew that before the video started. Gonzalo Ramos. I spoke about Marcus Thuram. Spoke about another couple players. But the second part of this series, we're going to be looking at more deeper lying midfielders. So who could step in and be a Casemiro understudy? That's going to be that second one. The third one's going to be more the attacking number 8s, your McAllisters. We're going to take a look at that. So that's going to be 2 midfielder videos and 1 on defenders or goalkeepers as well. But I hope you enjoyed that video yesterday. As I said, I think I could have done that video better, but there was just so much info. I need to structure it differently. So the next one's definitely going to be better than that one. We need 2 midfielders, says Daz, because Scott, Fred, and Ericsson not good enough over a season. I think Manchester United could and should be looking at selling and upgrading Scott McTominay this summer. That's this is the summer where Manchester United have got to start selling players that have genuine value to other clubs, rather than holding on to a player until nobody wants them, and then you can't sell them. That's what we do. That's what we traditionally do. Like Martial, you know what I think about Martial. I don't think we can rely on him anymore, and I'm bored of this repeating. It's like Groundhog Day with Martial. Get excited, injury. Get excited. And it's like, no, this is the 15th time I've watched this season. Anyway, but McTominay, going to be a good footballer when he leaves for another club. Might be Newcastle, might not be Newcastle, but we can get between 20, 30, I reckon 30 million for him. Maguire, same thing. Henderson, same thing. That's best part of 100 mil just between those 3 players. There's a lot that we can and should be doing. I think that I just want to go up here. I think because so many comments flew in over 1 second here. Max, you just gifted a membership there. Who'd you gift a membership to? Machiavelli. I like that word. Machiavelli. Maybe because I like Tupac. Tupac or Biggie? That'll be a debate we can have another time. Alex, this is something I've been quietly thinking to myself, right? And you've said it now, so I'll pull it up. That really is. That's what Manchester United could do. If we're smart here, we could probably get in the region of, as I said, 20 to 30 million for Scott McTominay. And we could probably... how much does Graven Birch go for? Probably you get him on a year-long, season-long loan with an option to buy at the end. Not an obligation, but maybe an option. Because that's kind of how a lot of transfers go these days. Yeah, he's going to be on our list, Anthony. Don't you worry about that. Save the Jungle. Good businessmen don't pay players to sit around. No, the Glazers are good businessmen. We've already had this debate this morning. Are they? I'm trying to swear less on here because I know there's some kids watching. Big up to Freddie if you're watching as well. Matt's son from the podcast. JVD, you ledge. I'm looking for my dad's Bruce. Jars around in his JCB. I don't know why that. You need to get a different name because I'm going to keep... Every time your name pops up, I sing that in my head. But yeah, we spoke about Evan Ferguson yesterday. Look at that. Fair play to Brighton. It's, I think he's only just... I mean, his contract wasn't running out, but they've tied him down to a new long-term contract. Evan Ferguson is definitely one to watch over the next couple of seasons. You could absolutely see him coming to United, couldn't you? You really, really could. Look, Atalanta head coach here saying that they're going to find it impossible to reject any big money bids for Rasmus Højlund. I've spoken about him. Strikes me as not the exact, not the exact play that we would need in terms of where he is in his career at this point in time. I think we need someone who's a little bit more established, a little bit more reliable, and that's why I think, in my opinion, I don't really feel like you can look past too much anyway. I don't think you can look past Osimhen or Kane. I think it's got to be one of those two. That's my personal instinct anyway. Woi, Maxi B, how you doing, man? Jeez. Gifted 10 memberships. What a ledge. Sam Johnson. You're saying thank you. What a legend, man. Daryl, you're saying nah, hell no. Don't compare Højlund to Haaland just because their names are quite similar. Haaland was a different breed before he joined City. He's just been a different breed the whole way through. Like, he's broken records every single day. Let's not talk about him. How many goals he scored this season? Is it like 42? Bastard. Anyway, let's focus back on Man United and what I would consider quite an exciting little talking point. Because, as I said, so many of you so often ask me to speak about the youth team, speak about loan players, and I want to, but I never really have time. So I think if I'm going to, I'll probably start bringing them into the live show. I think it'll be a better place for us to have these conversations. And we are here talking about this lad today. Let me get that on. Willie Kamwala. Now, this is a player I'm definitely excited about, and it's a player who's had to wait a long old time for his chance, right? Let's speak about him. We signed him from Social back in 2020. And that was at the same sort of time where Man United went on a bit of a recruitment drive around Europe. Obviously, we signed Garnacho from Atletico Madrid. We signed Marc Jurado. I believe that was from, was that Real Madrid? I think it was from Madrid. Not sure though. We signed, who else did we sign? We signed Kamwala from Sochaux. We signed Hannibal Mejbri. Maybe we signed him a little bit sooner than that. Timothy Fosu-Mensah, you remember him from Ajax's young team? Now, with Willie, he's had bad injuries. He really has. So it's been, 3 years since he joined now? Tell you what, look at the size of him. Look at the size of him. Maguire's a big dude. He could absolutely wallop Maguire. Anyway, the reason I'm excited about him, he's a very, very good defensive prospect, and he kind of always has been, but it's the injuries that really have curtailed his progress thus far. Alvaro Fernandez, that's who we signed from Madrid. I'll speak about Fernandez in a little bit, actually. Kind of doing a bit of a loan roundup. But I would say this is an exciting. If we're looking at the players who have sort of broken through into Garnacho was there just before Ten Hag came in. He obviously won the FA Youth Cup, and he was just the shining star there. And we hoped the breakthrough would happen, and it has. And then Kobbie Mainoo's come through, and he's made a couple of couple of sub appearances he's made now. So we've got one attacker in Garnacho, one midfielder in Kobbie Mainoo, and maybe Willie Kamwala is going to be that defender. Now, Marc Jurado has already been training. He's been in first team training for the last couple of weeks. But Kamwala is a centre-back. And if you're looking at where Manchester United need some strengthening, it is at centre-back. Let me go down here, make sure I'm not missing anything. I think there's a super chat there. Let me read this one out before we have a little quick conversation about him. Levray, how you doing, man? You're saying there is a huge sell-on clause in his contract. Brighton will sell big because the sell-on clause is quite big. Both are my local team. Oh, Bohemians, sorry, are my local team. Mate, Bohemians are going to be in the monies when he gets sold on. Anyway, this is quite an interesting couple of screens I want to show you here. This is from the United under-21s playing on Monday night against Leicester. And that's Kamwala over here. Get rid of that. That's him over here. One thing I think you'll notice straight away, one thing I notice is look how high this line is. I wonder if you remember the Eric Ten Hag. When did it come out that it wasn't that he was taking over responsibilities of the youth teams, but effectively he wants all the youth teams to play like Ten Hag plays with the first team at United. Because if you have that same identity throughout every academy side, it means that when that player comes to the edge of the first team, they already know what to do. They don't particularly need to be coached in the it's like Man United's first team in the preseason when they had to learn how to play Ten Hag's football. And it took them months of hard physical work. And slowly they started to build it. And we're still improving and increasing. If the youth teams play like that earlier, then by the time they come to the first team, you reduce the amount of coaching they need. So I think it's interesting to see them playing at such a high line. But of course, look, Leicester are 2-1 up. United chasing the game. Leicester are going to sit a little bit deeper. I know that too. Levra, you just sent in a super chat there, dude. We didn't say anything. Jonathan, you're saying it's maybe a hint that we will buy one centre back and he could become fourth choice. Maybe, but look at this for a pass. He's there. He receives the ball here. Well, he receives the ball just there over the halfway line. And from that position there, he dinks a lovely ball right to the edge of the box. And United score the equaliser off the back of it. He's joined in first team training this week, right? So let's find out whether he could make a play. He could get a place on the bench. I think with Martinez and Varane out for the season, Ten Hag, he's having to look for options. He's having to look through the academy teams. But that's what happens in football. Injuries create opportunities. We know full well the only reason that we saw Marcus Rashford when we saw Marcus Rashford was because Martial got injured in the warm-up. So maybe this is where Willie Kamwala, he gets that opportunity that he's been waiting for. Because as I said, last couple of years have been very frustrating for him with injuries. But this season is when he's played his most minutes for the under-21s, I think, and the under-18s still. Going to be exciting to see. Sam Rawlinson, can't you play a video? Those still shots are rubbish. Well, I could play a video if you want my channel to disappear because of copyright. But up until that point, we're going to have to stick with still shots. I'd love to play them, but no, I can't. But he's an exciting prospect. And this is did I do an Irish accent? I didn't mean to do an Irish accent. Anyway, this is something I'm going to do a separate video on, right? Because I saw this in the Athletic at the weekend, and it really is fantastic, and it deserves its own video and its own talking point. This is an analysis from the Athletic on Manchester United's squad depth per position. Players that are at the club, players that are on loan, players that are out on loan, players that are under investigation, and run through every single position. You can see where Man United have weaknesses and where Man United are overloaded with players who shouldn't really be at the club. But this deserves its own sort of video, I think, anyway. And I'm going to do that. When am I going to do that? Maybe on Saturday? No, Saturday's going to be there's too many games at the moment. But that will be done, all right? But what I want to talk about is players out on loan, okay? If we're looking at players who have had successful loan spells, Ahmed Diallo sits atop that list. Nominated for the Young Player of the Year in the Championship. He had a cracking season. And a good loan spell. This is why it's so important for clubs to choose the right clubs. So important for Manchester United to choose the right club to send players on loan. Because a good let's take what's his name? James Garner. Nottingham Forest, when he went on loan there and got promoted. Really good loan spell for him. I'll tell you what was a really good loan spell before that as well was Axel Tuanzebe, who went to Aston Villa when they got promoted. And then there's countless other examples of really bad loan spells. And when you get a bad loan spell, it doesn't help the development of a youngster. This season, for Ahmed, yes, he's played on the right wing, but a lot of the time he's been playing through the middle for Sunderland. Nominated for, as I said, the Young Player of the Year in the Young Player of the Season in the Championship. And he's coming back to Manchester United next season, a significantly improved and matured player. After all that experience in the Championship. Somebody else is Alvaro Fernandez. Now, this one is going to be an interesting one. He said, look, I've got a contract at United, so I have to go back there for pre-season. After pre-season, we'll see what happens. If I've got a space there, it's what I want for my football. He wants to come back to Manchester United next season and challenge. And he's made nearly 40 appearances for Preston this season. And Alvaro Fernandez is a player who has definitely progressed. Unfortunately, I would say for Alvaro Fernandez, I think we looked. It feels like we're good at left back. My personal opinion, but Luke Shaw, out and out first choice, plays left centre back when we need him to, calm. And then we've got Tyrone McAllister, who I think is in my opinion, is a good understudy. So I'm not really sure whether there's going to be space for Fernandez, which is a real shame. You know, you could come down here and say, oh, look, there you go, IR straight away. Alvaro's better than McAllister. Well, you can't prove that. You're shouting a statement there because you fancy saying it. You might be right. And that'll be down for Erik ten Hag to decide. And maybe that's what the preseason's all about. I can see what a few of you are saying down here. Let's bring him. He was next to my list. Hannibal Mejbri. I would say that Ahmed had the best season on loan. Alvaro Fernandez will definitely be happy with his loan spell. Hannibal Mejbri, I think he made around about 35 appearances for Birmingham. And the fans like him. He didn't, I'm not sure he started many games at all. More of a bench player as a sub. But he's gained experience. He's gained plenty of experience. What do you think about Hannibal? If he was to come back to Manchester United next season, I don't think he'd get much game time at all. I think unfortunately for him, Bruno exists. And I know that we're looking at Bruno, who could potentially miss, I think, the first game of his career through injury on Thursday. His consistency is outrageous. I think Hannibal is... I don't know. Edrid, you're saying Hannibal's a proper border in your opinion. Chris, you're saying he started a lot for Birmingham. I was having a look at the games that he played. Yeah, let me check that out there. I think he started recently. Look here. No, he's not started a game for... Or maybe he has started. When did he start there? Let's have a look. Maybe he came off. Did he start against Blackpool? Let's have a look. Maybe he started and then got taken off. Maybe I've just misinterpreted that. Let's have a look here. Birmingham. Oh yeah, he did start. Started in a 4-2-3-1 as one of the holding midfielders. I don't know. I think I would question whether Hannibal's going to have a long-term future at the club. Just what my instinct will say. Just my instinct. But he's enjoyed a lot of progress over these last 18 months. Remember that he's broken through into the Tunisia team. I think they got to the AFCON final? I think they did. He was part of that squad. Went to the World Cup with Tunisia as well. Enjoyed a season out on loan. He will feel like a first-team player now. And he's at that position, and he's got that self-confidence. I don't know. Van der Beek's definitely leaving Man United. I'm sorry for any or if you're here lurking in the comments, I'm sorry about that. That's definitely going to happen. But Hannibal, I don't know. Let's see whether he gets an opportunity in pre-season. Shudder he's had a bit of a mixed bag on loan at Bolton. And he's still only 19. You know, it's just because he broke through when I think he was 17 when he made his debut. I think he made his debut, he came on for Wayne Rooney. If I remember correctly, there was a photo, which he'll always remember. Let me see if I can pull this photo up. I'm pretty sure that Rooney came off and Shoretire came on as a sub. Where is it? I might be making that one up. Did I just make that up? Might have done. Was it Rashford? That was Rashford. Made it up. There we go. It was Angel Gomez. Was it Angel Gomez? Angel Gomez Rooney. There you go. Oh, man, that's sad, isn't it? Let's pull this one up quickly. I remember this at the time. There you go. I got mixed up. It was Shoretire for Rashford, and it was Angel Gomez. Did you ever see that interview that Angel Gomez did? I think he did it like 4 or 5 months ago, about just how much he loved Manchester United and how much making his debut was incredible, and he was so upset that he didn't break through and sort of have his career at United. I remember seeing that. But yeah, Shoretire, he's still got quite a lot of development to do, I think. A couple of points I want to finish with here and wrap up with. We've got news coming that United's game against City in the FA Cup final is actually going to be a 3 o'clock kickoff. We don't know that yet, but it makes sense, right? Both teams coming from Manchester, all the fans coming down from Manchester. Euston is going to be an absolute minefield that day, and it is a minefield at the best of times. As I said, I can't go to the Villa game on Sunday because the trains are so crap, let alone when there's thousands of United fans and City fans. Well, a couple of hundred City fans coming down for the FA Cup final. It should be earlier. It helps both teams. But that FA Cup final, right? This is a conversation that is definitely happening, right? Of course it's definitely happening. But Garnacho and the Under-20s World Cup. If Garnacho goes to the Under-20s World Cup, he will miss the FA Cup final. And I think he'll miss the last 1 or 2 games of the season, there or thereabouts. And in my opinion, I don't really think this should be a conversation. I think it should just be, Garnacho, man, you go and enjoy it. You go and do you. Would it help Manchester United if Garnacho was in our squad for the FA Cup final? And like, yeah, of course it would. But this is about man management, player management. Garnacho, he definitely wanted to go to the World Cup, and Argentina won it. He probably partly thinks, oh, fucking hell, as if I missed out on being involved in that. And the Under-20 World Cup is in Argentina. He will want to soak up being part of that. And maybe Argentina can go on to win the Under-20s World Cup in Argentina, and he could be one of the starring players. That will help him develop. I think Ten Hag will absolutely be saying, look, you got my blessing, off you go. I don't think we might see Garnacho play once, maybe 2 more times this season. I don't think we're going to be seeing him play often. I don't think we're going to be seeing Garnacho properly again until next season. If he can come back a winner of the Under-20s World Cup, having starred in it in Argentina, that's going to make him an even better player, an even more confident player. It's going to be a real shame not having him, but I'm really, really looking forward to seeing. I'll watch that. I won't watch all of it. No way I'm going to watch all the Under-20s World Cup. Might watch a bit of it if he's playing. Now, remember, geez, it's taken me 57 minutes to remind you of this. We've got 5 days left on the Xbox Series X giveaway. £1 to enter. Someone's going to win it from the community. What pricing giveaways have we done here? Last couple of months, we've had the PS5 last month. We've had the Xbox Series X this month. We've had the League Cup final tickets against Newcastle. We had the FA Cup semi-final tickets against City. Not against City, against Brighton. Hopefully, maybe in the future, I'm hoping here that I'm not promising anything. Maybe we could get some giveaway tickets for the FA Cup final. Jeez, imagine that. Woo! Last couple of minutes of the show, you know what I do every single day. Fire in your questions. Can be about football, can be about anything. And I'm going to bring this sort of Ask Me Anything. This is going to be the video that I bring to the members first. A sort of a weekly Q&A with members only, where you can fire it like a mailbag, I suppose. You can fire in your questions and I'll pick all your answers out and I'll do a video on it. Zidane Iqbal, what's the latest? Zidane sort of, it's kind of not faded into the background, but opportunities have been limited for him this season. And Ten Hag has preferred to accelerate Kobbie Mainoo through. Because remember that Iqbal was recommended to Ten Hag by Fletcher before the preseason started because he didn't have time to analyze the youngsters himself. He's obviously seen something a little bit different in Kobbie Mainoo that he really prefers. Sam should do a PS5 again. Nah, don't think we're doing a PS5 again. William, you're saying Tupac or Biggie. Now, I'm a Biggie man. I just like his flow. I grew up listening to a lot more Biggie than I did Tupac. But I tell you what, last few years, I've really started to appreciate Tupac a bit more. Very good storyteller. Just great. Just great. I'm a big hip hop fan. What's your favorite hangover food? Anything Turkish. I like Turkish food. I like warm flatbreads, good hummus, nice salad, good chicken. That's what I like. John, when's the scarf being offered? I forgot about that. We can actually... I'm so crap at this. I've got the wheel. It's all ready with all the members' names. I'm going to do that on Friday. So on Friday, the draw will be done for that scarf. That's going to be given away and sent to a member, wherever you are around the world. Is Charlie Savage a future player? I forgot about him. He's on loan at... Is it Newport? Where's Charlie Savage on loan? Charlie Savage. Forest Green. Nah. Swing and a miss. Didn't they just get relegated? I think they did. Max, you just gifted 1 membership again. You absolute don. What a ledge. James Matthews, where could I get some tickets for the FA Cup final? Good luck. The only way you're getting a ticket from United is if you bought, if you're a season ticket holder, you're eligible, you've signed up for the cup scheme, and you've paid for every single ticket this season, then you might get one. It is hard to get tickets, and that's why they are gold dust. Considering our issues up front, says Alex, do you see any academy players breaking through next season without include? Well, I don't call Mason Greenwood Voldemort anymore because, well, yeah, we can talk about him. And I tell you what, the thing I don't like is the longer this goes on, I think the more possibility that United might feel, oh, you know what, we can just sneak him back in now. I think from every perspective, Mason Greenwood shouldn't play for Manchester United again. We'll speak about that. There's a massive old conversation going on in the comments now about Tupac and Biggie. That's a different comment. That's a different sort of conversation altogether. Hey, look, I'll wrap this one up. It's a good show. I really enjoyed that. It's nice to actually talk about the youth team because so many of you have asked me to do that for a long, long time. Well, I'll try and do that a bit more often. The takeover is coming on Friday. It's a big day. The takeover. Well, I hope it's a takeover on Friday. Imagine that, right? Can you? I know it's highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. But just imagine that this protest, which will be huge, turns into a massive celebration instead because it's confirmed that the Glazers are going to sell to either Sheikh Jassim or Jim Ratcliffe. That would be very, very unlikely. I don't think it will happen. But dude, what if? What if? Fingers crossed, eh? But look, thank you everyone for joining in. A cracking show. An hour and 2 minutes. Jeez, I've been waffling for a while. Let me go and work on the Spurs video. That'll be going out at lunchtime, starting 11. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you drop a like on the video. It makes such a difference. Please, if you can, just take 2 seconds, hit the like button. It goes to show that you do enjoy it. And I'll be here tomorrow morning. Take it easy.